Hello again, this is Gary from CAD Pro Systems in New Zealand, and today I wanted to show you a workflow we've developed to help our erector, riggers, fabricators deal with connection QC issues. So in the discussions I've had with these guys, they tell me that the old way of doing things, which is checklists, clipboard checklists, in and of itself is a bit difficult in inclement weather. As you can imagine, wind, rain, it's difficult just to do the checklists to make sure you've got documentation to prove your beams and columns are all connected properly. And then when it comes time to deal with inspectors, you have other issues of digging out and finding the paperwork. And then ultimately, every once in a while, they're going to say, okay, there's your paperwork. It looks pretty good. Now let's go have a look and see what really happened out on site. And then you've got to spend the day walking around with them. So I developed this workflow with BIM 360 field, glue, and I used advanced steel to throw on the connections, but you can use any model that has connections in it, whether it came from Navisworks, advanced steel, an IFC model, Revit, with the Revit connections will work. So basically what he did was took this advanced steel model, pushed it out to glue, which you can see here. And I'll open up that model. And there's our model. Now another thing they expressed to me was the fact that they also have to prove documentation on their mill certificates. So I've handled that as well. And I'll get to that. So once you have it in glue, we push it over to field by sharing the information with field. And then here's what you're going to see in field. This is the start page. Now I'm going to use three of the tools: the equipment module, the library, and the photos. So when I spoke about the mill certificates, in the library I uploaded 2 mill certificates. So in the equipment that's come across, which are beams and columns, if I select any of those beams, look at the attachments, there's a certificate. So when you're coming through your list and the inspector says, okay, what's with what, you just bring it up, there you go. And that covers your mill certificates. So now with the quality control for the connections, it's a bit different. You'll be using the field app, which is iPad app. So what I'm going to do now is jump on over to that. There you'll see it. And here's one of the screens for the app for field for this project. So your guy in the field, he's going to be going to use the checklist. Now I've created a checklist specifically for the QC. It's quite simple just to get through this exercise. But we're going to go to the models and let's say, okay, we're going to do this beam here. So I select the information on that beam and there's this checklist associated with it. So I'm going to run another checklist. Run a checklist on it. And I'm going to say, okay, bolts, nuts. Well, before we do that, we'll go into the header of this report and provide its location. So we'll say it's level 2, I think it's quadrant 2. You can use whatever locations you've done in the past. And this is the company that's done it, CAD Pro Systems. I'm the one doing the checklists. The status is open, so on. So for now, we're done with the header. We'll go back and we'll start going down the checklist. Yes, yes, yes. So now we want to prove it. So we'll go back to our header, attachments, go to our attachments. So here we're in the field, and since I'm not out in the field, I'm going to use this here. Pretend that's my field, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say, there's that connection. See the paint stripes on it? I'll take that photograph. I'll go over to this side and I'll take that photograph, and I'm done. So now I have these 2 photographs in my data. I'm going to go back to the header and I'm going to sign this off. Done. Now I can say this is closed. I've done it. And going back, and I'm done. So now I'm going to sync my work. And that's basically all we're going to need from this now. So once that's been synced, I'm going to get back in the field and wait for this to happen. And I guess we can go to the photos and just have a look. This way, oh, the photos are already up there. I'll go back to my equipment. Just have a look and see what's going on. Anything? Oh, there we go. That's the BIM 1009. You can see there's this checklist. So now I can go to this BIM. There's the checklist. Double click and open it. And I have the data that was captured, as well as the photos, to prove that it is as the checklist says it is. So as you see, that's a very effective and lean way to provide your QC on connections. Now, even if I go back to, let's say we'll go back to the glue model, and I'll get to that beam, which is over here. Now I go to my properties, equipment. There's that mill certificate. And it's no longer an open checklist, it's closed. But there's the one checklist here. So I can see that this checklist has been done. So I can get this information and pass it on to anyone that's interested in it. So that's it. If you'd like some more demonstrations or examples, or like to talk to me some more about how you can utilize these tools for specifics, I've done it for forensic work as well, to go back into existing buildings and track defects and fixes to those defects, and it provides you a nice clean way to have the documentation handy for anyone who wants it. So with that, I'm going to call it a day, and you have a great day.